Good evening. It looks like we're on the air and it is 7 p.m. So I'm going to call to order the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting for the City of Richfield. It's November 15th, 2021. Our first order of business is the open forum. To participate in the open forum to address the HRA and items not on the current agenda, you may do so in person at City Hall in the council chambers, or you may participate virtually by dialing 612-861-0651. Administrative Assistant Dubois, is anyone on the line? Thank you. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak? All right, so we'll wait a minute or two and see if anyone calls in. And then while we're waiting, I just want to say that Commissioner Onosorg has an excused absence, so I just wanted to make sure that that was clear while we're taking attendance. Has anyone else called in?
Chair Supple, we do not have any callers.
All right, well, at this point then we will move on, and if someone does call in, you can just tell us. The next item is approval of the minutes of the Joint City Council, HRA, and Planning Commission work session of October 18th, 2021, and the regular Housing and Redevelopment meeting of October 18th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Regan-Gonzalez and seconded by Commissioner Sandal to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We've approved the minutes. Next, we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We've approved the agenda. Our first item is to consider a resolution approving an amendment to the contract for private development for Link 65 LLC. And I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Community Development Director Paleman, who is our acting executive director this evening. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Chair Supple, members of the board. On November 24th of 2020, the HRA approved a contract for private development with Link 65, the developer, agreeing to provide up to $5.7 million in TIF, or tax increment finance, to aid in the construction of a mixed-use building at 65th Street and Lyndale Avenue. The project is to include 157 units of housing with 10 affordable two-bedroom units and approximately 8,000 square feet of commercial space. The mixed-use project was found to meet several of the community's goals and has subsequently received all land use approvals and is now in for building permits. This summer, as the developer prepared construction documents, costs were found to have greatly increased due to several pandemic-related issues. The developer submitted revised financial information, and the HRA's financial consultants at Ellers confirmed these increases and the larger gap in financing. Ellers and the HRA staff evaluated a variety of options to both close this gap and to maintain the commercial space in the ground floor of the development. On August 16th, the HRA approved an upfront infusion of $500,000 in pooled redevelopment funds in the form of a forgivable loan. Despite a financial analysis by Ellers indicating that additional TIF funds would be generated by the development and also likely needed by the project, the developer felt they could make the project work without additional pay-as-you-go TIF funds. However, as the developer has worked to secure final financing, they've realized that they do, in fact, need additional TIF, and it will be necessary, and they're asking the HRA to consider an amendment to the contract. The proposed amendment would extend the district duration for 3 years and provide the developer with an additional $430,000 in TIF over the life of the district. The extended term provides benefits to the HRA as well, including an additional $103,000 to the Housing and Redevelopment Fund and an additional $94,000 in administrative funds. Finally, the longer duration of the district is accompanied by an amended restrictive covenant that preserves affordability of the 10 two-bedroom units for an additional 3 years. And I'll remind the HRA that our policy for redevelopment districts states that you can either contribute to the Housing and Redevelopment Fund or provide 20% of the units at 60% AMI. In this case, we negotiated with the developer to both provide a portion of those units, provide 10 units, which is not a full 20%, but 10 units, 10 larger ones at 60% AMI, and also contribute that full 15% to the Housing and Redevelopment Fund. HRA staff and the consultants find that this additional assistance is necessary for the project, and we would have actually recommended this earlier when they requested the $500,000, and so we recommend approval now. Christopher Willett with the development team is here tonight if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll stand for questions.
All right, are there any questions? All right, would someone like to make the motion then?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve a resolution approving a First Amendment to the contract for private development with Link 65 LLC. Are there any discussion items, comments? All right, Commissioner Regan-Gonzalez.
I'd just like to thank our staff for trying to get as much as possible for the community and the city through this renegotiation. It's hard to see that there's additional funds needed for the project. It's also understandable, so I appreciate working towards the 15% contribution and as much affordable housing and the extension of 3 years of affordability. So thanks to staff for making that happen.
All right, any other comments or questions? Then we will put it to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we've approved the amendment to the contract for private development. Our next item is consideration of a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from the Housing Redevelopment Authority's General Fund to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. All right, so Assistant Community Development Director Paleman.
Thank you, Chair Supple. I'll turn it over to Housing and Redevelopment Manager Julie Urban.
Thank you, Chair Supple, members of the HRA. So the city created an Affordable Housing Trust Fund in 2020 to construct, preserve, and rehabilitate affordable housing in the community. Since its creation, staff have been seeking revenue sources for the trust fund and have since identified sales proceeds from the Cedar Point 2 redevelopment project as a source of funding. In 2020, the HRA sold property within the Cedar Point 2 redevelopment area to the project developer. A portion of the sales proceeds was used to repay an assessment against the property, as well as an interfund loan that had accumulated due to the acquisition costs of the property. Approximately $908,000 remains of these sales proceeds. The Cedar Point 2 redevelopment project was originally approved to include market rate apartments and affordable townhomes. However, market conditions have made it difficult to construct and sell the townhomes as affordable. So in October last month, the HRA agreed to allow the developer to construct the final 32 units as market rate. To compensate for this loss of an affordable homeownership opportunity, staff is recommending that the HRA transfer $640,000 or $20,000 per unit of the Cedar Point 2 sales proceeds to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to be spent on affordable homeownership programs. The funds at this time would be budgeted as follows: $100,000 to the New Home Program for the purchase rehabilitation of one property by the Land Trust, which would serve an estimated 5 families over the life of the 99-year Land Trust lease. Also, we would budget $540,000 for down payment assistance, and this would provide between 27 and 36 down payment assistance loans through our existing first-time homebuyer program and also through a new program to be created for buyers of homes in the Woodlawn Terrace Manufactured Home Park. Both affordable home ownership programs serve households earning up to 80% of the area median income, which actually represents a deeper level of affordability than had been anticipated in the RF64 townhome project from which these funds are coming. I would just also point out a couple other things. As you know, we had special legislation passed this year that allows us to transfer pooled tax increment to the trust fund. We're still working on the details of getting that done. We were hoping to bring it all to you tonight. It just didn't quite come together. But I would point out that the legislation, the special legislation, would not allow those pooled TIF funds to be used for down payment assistance, and so it was important for us to be able to find another source that could be used for down payment assistance. And I would point out also that our down payment, or our first-time home buyer program, down payment assistance program, has been very successful this year in spite of the high housing prices. We've had, I believe it's 10 loans this year, which is really amazing. And we're actually down to just enough funds for maybe 2 more loans, and we have some folks interested in applying. So those could go quickly. If we aren't able to find money for that program, we would be out of funds until next July. And then, as you know, we've been working with the Woodlawn Terrace community at the opportunity to bring in 21 new homes, and given the market prices on that has gone up as well, and so down payment assistance could be very critical to helping maintain that affordability. And finally, another piece in support of transferring the funds is that in the last legislative session, a state matching program was created for trust funds. So communities that have affordable trust funds, hopefully after the beginning of the year, will have the opportunity to apply for up to $150,000 in matching funds. For us to qualify for that, we would have to have some local funds in the trust fund, and in 2022, we only have CDBG identified so far, which is a federal program. So another reason why I think it's important for us to get some local funds transferred to that Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right, do we have any questions? Would someone like to make the motion?
I will. I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the transfer of acquisition sale proceeds to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund for affordable home ownership activities.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Sandall and seconded by Commissioner Hre Daniels. Are there any comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I think most of us visited the new potential site for 21 homes in the area at 74th or 75th and Lindale, which is an area probably most of Richfield doesn't know. We actually have, what is the correct term? I want to be careful.
Manufactured housing community we've been trying to use, yeah.
Okay, manufactured homes. And they have 21 new sites, and we were very impressed with the organization that they've done, and I think this will be a real plus and hopefully helpful.
Thank you. Other comments? I was very pleased to see this because I think it's really good that we have the first-time home buyers program, but I also think that it's important to support the people at Woodlawn Terrace, because I was not aware that traditional lenders do not want to give loans to people that are in manufactured housing because of the nature of that they're leasing the space. And so it's very hard for people to get that financing. So if we can find a way to facilitate that, I think that would be fabulous, because I think that the people living in manufactured homes should have access to down payment assistance just like anyone else. So this is really fabulous. And then to get the matching funds to boot, that's even better. So thank you. All right, any further comments? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, we've adopted the resolution. Thank you. Next is consideration of the adoption of a resolution authorizing the purchase of 6326 14th Avenue South for future development as a single-family home under the Ridgefield Rediscovered program. Okay, Director Palin.
Thank you, Chair Supple. I'm going to pass it to Housing Specialist Kate Aitchison.
Good evening. In September, the family of the owner of 6326 14th Avenue South reached out to staff and expressed an interest in selling their home to the Richfield HRA. This house is a 625 square foot house built in 1947. It's a one-story home with one legal bedroom and one non-conforming bedroom, one bathroom, and an unfinished basement. There's no garage or driveway on this property, and it's 75 feet wide. The house was inspected and meets the substandard requirements for acquisition and demolition under tax increment financing. A sale price of $155,000 was agreed upon with the seller. This home will be purchased for the eventual demolition, and sale with our Ridgefield Rediscovered program. As you all know, the goal of the program is to provide housing opportunities for the construction of new market-rate single-family homes in Richfield. These new units provide updated modern housing options for our community and do increase the tax value of the previously underutilized properties. With increasing sale prices in Richfield, fewer opportunities have come up for us to acquire properties for this program. The last acquisition we had was in early 2019, and we haven't had any since then. With this acquisition, it does have a higher price, which you'll notice, but we do anticipate a higher sale price for the vacant land when it becomes available this spring. In recent years, the Richfield Rediscovered acquisitions, the subsidies for those have ranged from $54,000 to $68,000 per lot. We anticipate this subsidy would be around $75,000 to $80,000 in the end. Our program continues to be really popular. We have nearly 300 people on our notification list, get updates about new properties that are available for the program. And it's a real singular opportunity for people to build in our community, as you know. We're fully built out. So this is a great opportunity, and we've seen 148 homes built since 1990. So with that, we have the owners here, Angie and Russ. Her son is here as well, and I'm open to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Sandal? Oh,
No.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Reese Daniels?
Thank you for the report. And I did have a question as I was looking at our Richfield Rediscovered site. It talks a lot about finding your own property, and then we will give the $50,000 tax credit. Is there a reason that we are buying this outright to put into that pool versus letting the market take care of it, let someone buy it on their own and develop it under the program?
Yeah, good question. So we were approached by the sellers in this case. In the past, we've sent out kind of blanket letters to owners of low-value homes, just letting them know that we're out there. And so the owner had saved a letter that she had received a number of years ago and contacted us when she decided to move. I think it's a good opportunity in this case to pick up a property and then maybe have a little more control over how we open for proposals. With the Second Avenue property, you might remember, we asked for an ADU. And so when we own the land, we will have a little more control over what we could ask for as we open it up to the market.
Thank you.
Additional questions? All right, Commissioner Sandal?
Not a question so much as a comment. And one of the things I think this program does very well is it encourages their neighbors to improve their property. If you have a brand new house on your block and you're not the most expensive house anymore, maybe I can add on to my house. Maybe I can expand because I'm not the most expensive house and we have a really nice neighborhood and really newer homes. And that, I think, makes a big difference. We noticed that when we first started doing the program many, many years ago. So, and people do pay attention.
And I would note that there is an older Richfield Rediscovered house across the street from this lot. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, any further comments or questions? Commissioner Regan Gonzalez?
Could you share again what the subsidy is for this home, for this sale?
So we don't know exactly at this point. We're planning to sell, our sale price is $155,000. And I just kind of based on some of the appraisals we've had done on other vacant land in the community, I think we could sell the vacant land this spring for between $75,000 and $80,000.
Okay. And then in terms of, so it's purchasing the house and the lot, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about the size of the lot in comparison to the average lot that a Richfield Rediscover house is built on?
Yeah, it's comparable. I mean,
Okay.
the 75-foot lots are a little more rare. We don't often get to purchase those. People are always excited to see them because then it offers a little more flexibility in terms of what you could build. So for instance, if somebody wanted to build a Rambler, typically a 50-foot lot is going to be really challenging to build on with a single level floor plan. So this would offer additional opportunities. I believe all the the lots on that side of the block are 75 feet, so it's comparable to the rest of the neighborhood.
Okay, so there's plenty of size on the lot then. Cool. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, would someone like to make the motion?
I will. I move that we adopt the resolution authorizing the purchase of 6326 14th Avenue South for new construction of a single-family home under the Richfield Rediscovered program.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Sandal and seconded by Commissioner Reed Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All right, Commissioner Reese Daniels.
Yes, so I think the 155,000, well, a fair price for the house is a lot, and more subsidies than we spent in the past, but I appreciate the commentary about we can design it when we own it and have some more restrictions, much like the accessory dwelling unit or a rambler. You're right, I was looking at these lot sizes, and it's much larger on that side of the street than it is across the street, and so I would love to see some creative things done with this as part of the Ridgefield Rediscovered, and have some alternative layouts of houses that we try to market this towards.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we've adopted the resolution. Thank you. Our next item of business are HRA discussion items. Are there any items that any commissioners would like to bring up?
Ooh,
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Sandal, go ahead.
Just a question. Are we having a December meeting?
Commissioner Sandal, that was my executive director's report. Yes, you can plan on a December meeting. We are anticipating at least 2 items, so there will
Okay.
be a meeting on December 20th.
Thank you.
All right, other discussion items? Then we'll move on to the executive director's report.
Thank you, Chair Sobel. I'll just mention one other thing, and that is some of the work we've been doing and you've been participating in with the City Council and Planning Commission, and that missing middle housing work that we've been doing. You can expect to see that visual preference survey in the near future. And also in reference to this house on 14th Avenue and creative ideas, I know that there are some of us who have been doing some of that work and updating our codes and looking at other opportunities for possibly duplexes, who took a look at this lot and thought, oh, perhaps that might be a great test case for a duplex. So just keep an eye out for that in your inboxes in the next 2 weeks. And then you'll probably have 2 to 3 weeks to go through that and submit it to us for review. And that's all.
Thank you. Next, we have claims.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the claims. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving claims, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We've approved the claims. All right, well, thank you for everyone for attending the meeting. If there is no further business, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.